Hi everybody, this is just a really quick video introducing you to the rest of the semester. So this chunk of work is going to take us through to the last day of classes, which is June 24th. It's like a week and a half, so it didn't seem worthwhile to break it up into two separate weeks, so I just put it all together. So this week, you don't have any more additional required reading, but you have some optional readings. This reading, the Vivian Chow reading, is very like science based, and those of you who are liking that kind of like very fact heavy science based kind of reading might like that reading. One of the things that happened last week was you got to choose from a lot of different texts, and I saw you doing great work gravitating towards the texts that worked better for you and then not working with the ones that didn't fit, right? So like if you liked something really fact based, then you went with that. And if you didn't like something like poetry, you just didn't work with it. That's a really useful skill to learn. So this week, again, there's a lot of optional texts, but there's a lot of thinking and writing for you to do. And you are going to be creating a lot of your own knowledge this week. So there's not a lot of required texts. This one, like I said, is more like fact and science heavy. The Jablonski one is more historical, and it's pretty short. It's like not even 2 pages. There's also a TED Talk that goes with that if you want to look it up. I didn't give you the TED Talk, but you can always look it up. So those are some readings. And then we have a whole bunch of videos here, and everything kind of ties together. For some reason this week, I decided to go heavy on pop culture. I guess because I feel like the conversation about race is a part of everything that's happening in media around us. And a lot of the scholarship on race is very dense and very hard to process, but a lot of the way we talk about it in popular culture is very real and very relevant. So some of you may remember Jesse Williams' BET speech. It's a really powerful speech. This PBS website has a very cool activity where you are trying to guess what race people are from looking at them. Tomi Lahren is a conservative commentator, and she went on Trevor Noah's Daily Show. The Daily Show, as you know, is comedy, but it deals with real issues. So there's two different parts of that. Please watch them both if you decide to look at that. They're both really funny and really interesting. And then recently, Trevor Noah has been still doing his show from home, and he did this like 18-minute segment reflecting on the George Floyd protests and everything that's going on. One part of that was him talking about the social contract, and that's what this is. Some of you may have seen a video by Kimberly Jones. If you're in Professor Cruz's class, as part of Professor Cruz's class, she refers to this. If you want to look that up, if you Google Kimberly Jones on YouTube, you'll get a very, very powerful talk, reflection by Kimberly Jones, a Black Lives Matter activist. And it's worth looking up. It is really important. I didn't feel like I could give it proper context, so I didn't include it in the websites. But if you want to go look that up, go look that up. But this is a shorter version of Trevor Noah's 18-minute. This one is about 6 minutes. John Oliver is also another comedian, but he also takes on very real issues. And in this video, he's taking a look at school segregation. And this is relevant to so many of us because the schools in our community are so segregated that I thought that was a really important thing to have. And then this is relevant to your 2 blog posts. So let's talk a little bit very quickly about your 2 blog posts. So one blog post, let's come down here and we'll look at them. Your first post, you're going to be defining 2 of these terms. So most of these terms are in our reading, except for social construction, which is in the video that you're going to be able to watch next. You're going to, don't look those terms up. Don't Google them. Don't look them up in a dictionary. Don't search them on the internet. You're going to give your own definition of those terms based on our reading. The second post is you're going to start Googling, you're going to start researching, and here's where you're going to go out on the internet, see what there's to find, and then be building your own knowledge. So rather than me just giving you a reading about race, I'm giving you ways of thinking about race, and you're figuring out what to think for yourself, which is pretty challenging and pretty high level work, but I'm really confident that you could do it. So I collected a lot of terms that go with the videos and stuff that we're looking at. Some of them may be familiar, like segregation. That's a term a lot of us know, but you could look up look it up and find more history about it. Some of it may be less familiar, like words like octoroon, mulatto, and quadroon. Look those up because it's hard to believe that they're real, but they were definitely real. You can use, as you look these things up, you can use Wikipedia. I want you to use reliable sources. Don't go to, like, Joe's blog and get information from Joe's blog, because who the hell is Joe? I don't know who Joe is. But a lot of students think Wikipedia is not reliable and have been told again and again that Wikipedia is not reliable. It's actually often a very good starting place, because Wikipedia entries usually have a ton of references. They have a really long works cited page that tell you where their information is coming from. They're open source, but they're not just like the wild, wild west. They're vetted. People look at them. People correct them all the time. And if you put something on Wikipedia, you have to say where that information is coming from. So you can use Wikipedia for this research. Sometimes these terms might not take you to something text. So, for example, when you start searching strange fruit, you're going to come up with a song. And you're going to be able to maybe trace that song and figure out what that phrase means and how it has worked in American pop culture and history. So those are your 2 blog posts. Then you're going to go on to essay 3. Essay 3 is again going to have you creating a lot of your own knowledge. So in essay 3, you're going to use those 2 concepts that you defined in your blog post, and you're going to use those concepts to think about this question of who am I? You're kind of like taking Tatum's ideas and reframing them or rethinking them in your own terms to answer this question: who gets to decide who we are? Do we as individuals get to decide who we are? Does society decide for us? That's a big question, or maybe it's somewhere in between. So for this essay, you can use some of your own experience, but you should be relating your own experience to these bigger questions and ideas. Now, a lot of times when we think about this, the first thing we think about is our families, and our families can have a really big impact on us figuring out who we are. But you have lots of stuff here, especially in all these phrases that you're looking at, all this stuff that you're looking at, to find a lot more than just our families that tell us who we are. So you might be thinking about, like, how do laws tell us who we are? How does the way we get treated by police and treated by the legal system tell us who we are? How does media tell us who we are? How does history tell us who we are? So you're going to be thinking about all of those things for your final essay. That essay is due on the 24th, which is technically the last day of classes. And then I'm going to give you 2 more days to catch up on anything that you're missing. And then we have to close it all up, and you'll get a chance to evaluate me, and we'll do like an end of the semester essay. So this is a lot to take in this week. So we'll have 2 meetings online. Please come to them. I love to see you, and I love to hear your questions. You don't have to stay for the whole hour. You can just drop in on those online meetings, or email me, text me, whatever, with any questions that you have. All right, I'm really looking forward to seeing your work for this week and hearing what you think.